Thank you for listening. This is the Solo Monk Show, episode 18. Our eyes scan the darkness for anything, any concrete nature to the abstractions that symbolize the processes of actualization, each ethereal tangent of humanity categorized, deboned, and sold back. Everything outside this process audited as inexplicable and tagged as spirituality or chaos, ignorance mistaken for transcendence or abysmal bottomless fear. Everything a working part of the patterns we recognize. Our binary education is meant for production of other wealth and capital, fully socialized in a meat suit vehicle. We are confused, sad, but willing to work for rent, because it's what is in front of us. We identify most micro-fractals of the larger capitalist death drive's operating system, and they're consumed as distractions or consolidated as behavior, fully internalized, accepted, reflected, and propagated through our relationship to the market and our transactions with individuals navigating the market. We identify divergent variables, agents, or experiences as scrambled, unsourced patterns assigned with antagonistic profiles, othered, ethered within the controlled lexicons of our big infantile show. System failures and human inconsistencies have their place. Human experiences turned into dismissible blips and mountains of data, violent externalities to the show. A part of our understanding of all social experiments we've attempted to this point. Others eat off our plate of labor till they grow strong enough to take our plate from us. After a while, we beg for scraps and applaud their mercy, forgetting we ever had a plate of our own or independent means of producing goods for that plate and sustaining private lives. Most people don't want private lives anymore. A large portion of the population are fully invested in building their profile as an avatar on a frictionless plane, self-actualizing full dispossession as an act of empowerment. We forget over and over again till the grand show feels real. The frictionless plane looks better than real. Everything better than real. Controlled narrative is our apex, building systems where through violence, removal of choice by force, we can propagate an illusion of scarcity and market value for labor that creates compounded speculative wealth, and we all worship that wealth. What is hard to consider as an audience note of spectacle is what amount of labor is needed outside the format to create the format. Teams of labor behind each frame performed, edited, sprinkled with adverts, media serial to simulate a social framework or culture to tether a mass of alienated people into a lifetime of immobile, stunted, surreal grunt work. The labor it takes to create the tools of illusion we use as a source material for the illusion's merit sometimes feels unfathomable to the exhausted individual worker. We create their wealth and are shuffled back into the audience section to lend them adulation and spiritual support in their extraction. We have bills to pay, rent to get, 30-year mortgages, and insecure labor markets. We work under our own private dictators in the workplace, are demanded to pretend there's civil participation or governance. Acknowledging that begins with another level of despair. Freedom is an act, staged conception in a subjugated life. Who gives a shit about our role or how many roles it takes to create the ritual of symbols consumed as comfort? In turn, a natural first gear survival is play the game, watch the game, or search for another comfort in the guise of spectacle. We develop a domestic malaise to shield the id from the friction of our declining material conditions, creating a populace of despondent dreamers living and identifying through media. Our individual visible avatars become the subjects of our projections, exercising desires of the id, further extending our existential posture towards identity and external commodities. Internalized as failure, we experience further alienation when we are unable to materialize our identities through the market, offering our essence of individual id through the external actors and placing value on the abstractions we collect and project, demanding empiricism of niche planes of controlled actors and servile human nodes before our identities are realized. Every man a king, tributed by his own serfs, his own stable of serfs. This hopeless belief in the grift of the merit of our market says we are the operators of our own destiny, individuals capable of building Jeff Bezos-type parallel economies that shade past monopolies. Each individual their own ruler of a frictionless plane, unattached to the material plane where bigger fortunes demand concrete economic violence. Compounded speculative wealth used to acquire material resources. Each individual has to willingly build or participate and their own structures of subjugation. Millions participating to actualize this vertical relationship we ideate, romance, conceptualize, birth, nurture, and idolize. Code given to us and repeated over and over and over through generations. In its stupefying glow, we create stories and events to replace our despiritualized bodies and accelerationist desires. Moving hegemonic symbols delivered directly to our homes to project our pleasure principles. Personal lives of individuals tailored for shows or their late-night re-airings. Planning family events around cable programming schedules. Hustling home to catch your show. Everyone's dying to live inside the box. And how can they see themselves inside the box? How can they mirror the stories they consume? They know whoever makes the box dreams the delusions between womb to tomb. At least this was the case in the United States in the late 1990s. The spiritual consent delivering system was the TV. Cable programming, an empty symbol of culture to project our alienation on, to dissolve it, to absolve it. Shared stories around the water cooler.